Oh, look at that. We're live. I'm going to tweet out this link real quick so people can watch us if they want to, which they won't. They never do.
Hey, why'd Major League Baseball do away with the baggy pants?
I have. That's a
Is that
weird
the
question.
joke?
Jeez.
Is there a
No.
punchline?
No, I found a picture on my desktop. I don't remember what the context is from, but there's like old-timey baseball players in like parachute pants, and I want to know why they like did away with that look.
Probably because they hindered playing the actual not stupid, the wonderful game.
It's a stupid game.
No, it's a
bad game.
fantastic game. It's my favorite game. You shut up. How you guys doing?
I'm tired.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, 1 second here. Okay, link tweeted out. Broadcast started. Okay. And 3, 2, 1. Actually, this is 2, right? Because it's 2. Welcome everybody to the SideQuest, your regular-ish video game podcast brought to you by the wonderful team at SideQuesting.com. It's a website. Please rate and review us. I'm gonna start saying at the very beginning of the show. Please rate and review us. Go right now. Pause the podcast. We won't, we won't feel upset. Rate and review us. 5 stars are always super nice, but you should just be truthful with your, with your thoughts. And then come on back and listen away, because those reviews help us keep climbing to the top of the charts. So if you're one of our 17 listeners, please rate and review us. Anyways, this is the pre-E3 2016 super special for SideQuesting.com. I'm Dolly Domovsky. There's Tom Johnson.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, you've actually made it to a podcast. Seems like every time we plan one, we plan around your schedule, and we never make it on time. And you never make it.
I have missed 2 podcasts. Total.
Yeah. Okay. Sam Dixon.
Hello, friends. I've lost my complete interface, so I can't actually see you.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's fantastic. Don't worry, we don't want to see you. I'm just kidding. We love seeing you. You're so beautiful, and your beard is just looking fantastic. I gotta say, it is. I every time I start growing one, it gets very itchy, and I like chicken out at the last second and shave it. One of these days. And making her return appearance, Robin Miller.
Evening, friends. I actually gauge how long it's been since I've last been here by Sam's beard length.
she has screen captures up on her desktop.
It's true. I do. It's a great clock, I guess.
Pardon y'all for pardon me, I should say, for not pardon y'all. Pardon me for the darkness of my camera here. I do need to get better lighting in my stinking office. Unfortunately, my office is a mess. I have not had a chance to clean it over the last few weeks or get anything. I've been traveling a lot. I'm essentially, I think, by the end of June, I'll have. Oh, we lost Sam. That's even better. By the end of June, I'll have been away from home for like 5 out of 6 weeks, so that's never fun. Either way, we are here. We're going to talk E3 and 2016, but we're going to start with a little bit of what we've been playing. And I want to start with Robin, because Robin, you've been playing Game for Review right now, and I'm curious to hear some of your thoughts.
Yes, so I've been playing Eva's Story, Typing Chronicles, and as the title entails, it's a typing game, which actually made me eat crow.
Whoa.
We'll get to that in just a moment. So the basic premise is that you're playing as a writer facing writer's block, and you're doing this by playing as a little girl atop a giant fox, and you're riding around and fighting off insects and corruption in the world. And that's the story that's sort of unfolding before your eyes.
Okay.
But it becomes very apparent early on that there's an interesting connection between what's actually going on in the real world that's inspiring the story and the story itself. Now, it's a typing game, so having no experience with the genre and having never played Typing of the Dead or any of those other
Mavis
things.
Beacon teaches adventure games.
Yeah, I I approached it under the assumption that, hey, this might be a nifty tool for people who aren't great at typing or looking to increase, their typing speeds. And I assumed that it would not actually get one up on me, I guess. Like, I thought all the words in there would be things I'm familiar with. Little did I know that they have an adaptive difficulty feature, which gauges how well you're doing and then increases the difficulty of the words and the number of enemies that are approaching. And you have to defeat these enemies by typing the words, and that launches an attack at them. But there's big enemies that can have up to 15-letter words above them that you have to type out while micromanaging all of these smaller enemies that are a lot faster and swarming you, and if you get touched once, you die. So it made me eat crow because there are definitely some words in that game that made me reach for a dictionary, and I was thinking it was going to be an easy, kind of cutesy game, but there's actually a satisfying amount of challenge to it. So I've been enjoying it.
What's the visual style?
It looks as though everything is made of paper, and they've done a really great job of this. So like the fox and the girl look like they're constructed from paper craft. As you discover new areas, it literally unfolds origami style into the landscape, and the entire thing is stacked on books. There's a very strong literary undercurrent, which is also what attracted me to it to begin with. So it's a really beautiful, really neat little game, and it's definitely worth checking out, I'd say. Like, even if there's a few interesting things that occur, like I had issues with enemies not despawning. They didn't do anything, but their animation was just frozen on screen. But beyond that, it was really enjoyable, and I have to say that I played it through almost in one sitting, just because I had to figure out what was going on. And also found the typing oddly therapeutic once I became humble again.
It's kind of nice to type sometimes where you know what the end goal is, and you're not necessarily trying to find words. Like if we're doing work or writing a review or an article, where we're kind of writing as we go along. This is, what you have to type, I guess, in a way, and it helps.
Yeah, and it tries to measure your words per minute, but I still contest that their accuracy is not entirely great with that, because it's very different when you're actually testing yourself for words per minute. It's different typing a paragraph that's in front of you as quickly as you can than having to look across an entire screen of moving targets and enemies that are bearing words that you may or may not know.
Okay.
So I definitely said I was a bit lower than I feel I am in words per minute, but based on some of the words that I was throwing my way, I can understand why.
Well, cool. We had this, like, the review code sitting for this game, and everybody's been swamped with life and work and everything. We haven't had a chance to get to it, and I didn't really know if I'd have the time, and I'm so glad that you accepted it, because I remember you pinged me. You're like, I've got to try this game. Let me know if the review's still available. I'm like, yeah, it's totally still available. So awesome. I might have to check this out over the summer. Seems like
definitely
might be cool. Like how long do you think the game is?
It was about 5 to 6 hours for the story. It depends on how often you get lost. I'm notorious for going the wrong way in games and trying to find every last secret. So it took me a bit longer than that for that reason.
Could be a cool, like, rainy Friday night game, I guess.
Yeah, and a good one to play with your daughter too. I'd say.
Yeah, and I'll get to that because there is a game that I've been playing with my daughter. What else have you been playing?
Mostly just revisiting favorites.
Okay, good.
So,
good.
like Stardew Valley, I've started
I've
second
got to start
in-game
that.
year.
I've got to start Stardew Valley.
It is phenomenal.
Yeah, all of you have raved about it over the last year, so I've really got to get into it. I'm writing it down right now. Get Stardew Valley.
Yeah, get Stardew Valley. It's worthwhile. So I thought it was going to wear thin after a while because after your first in-game year. I mean, this is probably revealing that I've only put maybe 50 hours into it.
Only 50 hours into it.
But or 40. It depends on how quickly you go through the days. I tend to milk them for every last second. But I thought it was going to wear thin once the seasons start repeating. But there's so much for you to do and discover and get around to on your farm, and like so much to work towards as well, because it only gives you achievements in piecemeal, but you feel like you've earned them.
Oh, wow.
So there's still a lot of prettification that my farm can benefit from. I'm not sure if that's a true word, but it is in Stardew Valley, and it pertains to my farm and its lack of prettiness.
Dissertating is a word, so whatever other word.
Dissertating is a word, and that's a word I had to kill in Epistory.
Oh no!
My number that it had dissertation above one of the spiders. And I was like, oh, I am taking this one out right now. But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Excellent. So you mentioned a good game with my daughter. I'm going to dive into what I've been playing. I've been playing. I'll start with kind of the most recent one here. I'm playing through Kathy Rain, which is a game we saw at PAX East. Yeah, it's a game we saw at PAX East. I previewed it there. I'm notorious for breaking the computer for the four folks that.
That was the one you broke the computer for?
No, it wasn't me. The computer, like, it must have overheated or fried or something, because
I'm sure.
An energy spike. I'm not sure, but I was right in the middle of this game, and it spiked. And so with there, they sent us a review code because the game was releasing soon after that, and unfortunately, I couldn't pick up right from where I had left off. I had put like 20, 30 minutes into the game then. So, but I got to that same point. It is a classic style point and click adventure game. So think of, let's see, what's the best way to like the Day of the Tentacle, Maniac Mansion. At least that style. Not necessarily that theme. This is much more of a mature theme. You're essentially, Kathy is a college student who finds out her grandfather has passed away, and so she's kind of this takes place all in the 90s, so there's no cell phones, there's very minimal internet stuff and computers. Everyone probably has Packard Bells or whatever, and so she goes to visit her. Goes to the funeral and sees her grandmother there, and starts to figure out that there's some strange circumstances surrounding her grandfather's death, and your kind of goal in the game is to piece all these together. And Kathy's sort of a rebel, a kind of a 90, I don't want to say a typical 90s Gen Xer, but that's what it felt like, because that was my time frame, and I knew what the 90s were like, college for me. So this takes place like I want to say like 96, 97, 98 time frame. And so you're exploring this. You're point and click. You're kind of combining items that you pick up with different aspects of the rooms that you're in and the areas. And the only issue, and I'm really enjoying it. It's extremely well written. It's all voice acted. There's some terrific artwork. The only issue I've had at the game is that in the early on portions, so I think the game takes place over 5 days, and through the first two and a half, almost 3 days, you're kind of focusing on like the same 4 locations, and a couple of those locations are really only like 1 room or 1.5 rooms, and so there's not a lot of movement like you'd find in some of the other adventure games. But once you there's a certain point in the game where things kind of go off what you would expect, what Kathy's expecting as the the reasoning behind her grandfather's death, and things really start to pick up after that. And I'm not going to spoil it, but it's definitely an engaging story. And again, it's excellently voice acted. And if you like the classic point and click, my review will be up hopefully soon. I'm just plowing through the game, and I'm taking my time through it, and I've restarted it and kind of playing it again to see if any of my choices have different different results. But the interesting thing is that my daughter every once in a while will peek over my shoulder and kind of look at Kathy and say, "Dad," she at first she said, "Dad, what are you playing?" I said, "It's a game called Kathy Rain. This is the heroine. Her name's Kathy Rain, and she's a detective." My daughter really got into it, and she would sit down on my lap and watch me play this game on my laptop and loved it. She's like, "Dad, what if you do this? Dad, what's Kathy doing now?" And then she'd go off, play with her toys, and come back like 10 minutes later. "Dad, what's Kathy doing right now? What did she figure out?" So my daughter really got into watching me play Kathy Rain, which is so cool to me because, I was like 7 years old when I was 7 or 8 when I was first getting into adventure games in the PC era with like Sierra stuff, King's Quest and Space Quest, and so she's 6, my daughter, and she's starting to get into adventure games, and it's like super awesome for me. So I'm really, I'm really happy, and it's the same like classic era style adventure game, so it's really cool. So Kathy Rain, I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, very cool story, and if you kind of get past the first couple days, it really starts to open up after that. And there were times when I got stuck, but I guess maybe that's where having kind of fewer rooms and fewer locations in the first part of the game helps. Because if you get stuck, you're kind of forced to try everything, and there isn't a whole ton of stuff to try initially. And then you realize, oh wait, I can combine this with that. I didn't even think about it. And I can use this on the telephone. There's telephones everywhere. I can use this on the telephone. I didn't even think about that. And so it tends to it forces you to think differently. So when you get into that second half of the game, your kind of toolbox is your mental toolbox, your problem-solving toolbox has been expanded. So yeah, Kathy Rain, great. Check it out. What's that?
How would you rate the motorcycles in Kathy Rain?
The motorcycle, the Catmobile, which is what she calls it. So Kathy has a motorcycle, and there's it's kind of interesting because whenever she's going from one location to the next, we're in a traditional point and click. You're walking from room to room to room. In Kathy Rain, she hops on her like Harley, and you see her just like driving up and down through or it's left to right, driving from one location to the other. It's pretty funny. She calls it the Catmobile. So yeah. Okay, pretty cool, Kathy Rain. And it's PC and Mac, available on Steam, so and a bunch of other places. So definitely get that. But that's not the only game I've been playing. Another game I've been playing, and you guys are gonna hate me for this, is let's see, what's it called?
Watch your step, Dolly.
What? Ready? Ready? Sam will say, "Oh, that's actually pretty cool," but I'm gonna get probably something thrown at the screen by Tom. Doomsday Clicker for iOS.
Oh, yeah, no, here's the thing. I love clickers.
So do I. I don't know what it is about clickers. It's like the stupidest kinds of games.
Clickers?
Yeah.
Clickers, Tom. You're okay with clickers.
The
You're
number-
okay. It's like everything else. Clickers. The numbers increasing is Tom Johnson.
Has anybody
16.
played Doomsday Clicker?
No,
It's-
is it like Adventure Capitalist?
It's a clicker-ass clicker game, and I'll open it up right now. It's made by Pickpock. I don't know if I've never heard of them before, but all you're doing is it's like vaults from Fallout, and you're building up these vaults, and you can have like gyms and kitchens and stuff, and you get the followers by clicking. You're essentially buying people, and the people make money, so you buy more people, and that's really all it is, and it's super simple. Like, and your whole goal is just to keep growing your different vaults. So I don't know if you can see it. This is Suburbia. It's like the first place you get, and you scroll up and down. And it's like, okay, I can buy a few more people there, and I'll buy a few more people right here, and that's it, done. And you can like enhance. You can enhance. Some of your skill sets. Oh look, I can increase. It's leg day. That's pretty cool. Whatever. So and that's all it is, and you're just gaining money. I don't know what it is about that, but I've just been sucked in. I love clickers, clicker heroes. There was a cookie clicker. I wish they make like a cookie clicker compendium. I would buy all those. I don't know. I love clicker games. So yeah, Doomsday Clicker. So
It looks like Fallout Shelter Light almost.
That's exactly. So what was that? Is that what that Fallout Shelter game? It's like Fallout Shelter Light, but in a weird way.
Except not trash.
But see, I would love a mix between this and Fallout Shelter. Maybe when E3's coming up, maybe we'll get that. But there's something just stupidly easy about this game where you can't screw up. Mix some of that in with Fallout Shelter. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So, Doomsday Clicker. I finally completed a bunch of the DLC and stuff of Fire Emblem Fate's Birthright. God, what a great! And I've just now picked up Conquest. I'm hoping to get into that. But I love Fire Emblem games, and they did so well with Fate. I actually liked Awakening a bit more, but the plot, the characters in Fates are all really cool. Everything's really, the game is really tight. So I'm curious to see what happens on iOS when they start putting Fire Emblem games on that, supposedly this fall. So that I completed. I played through Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
That game is so dope.
It's actually pretty fun. I enjoyed Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, with Kevin Spacey. So I played through the single player and that, little bit of multiplayer. Done, packed it away. Take it off my my pile of shame. And I played Kirby Canvas Curse for the DS. I played it on the 3DS. So Cool game. And I like Rainbow Curse. Canvas Curse is the predecessor, obviously, like 10 years prior. What a great, well-designed game.
The better game.
What's that?
I feel like Canvas Curse might be the better game.
It is the better game because there's more variety, I think, in world design. Rainbow Curse is kind of stuck with the clay style. Canvas Curse goes from like hand drawn to technological to fantasy to all over the place. So I do like Canvas Curse.
I give you a lot of shit for playing old games, but I'm really glad that you got to experience.
Yeah,
that game.
It's my first time playing it, so I was really excited. I'm like, all right, cool. Because I had played Rainbow Curse last year, so. And then let's see, I'm hopping back into Xenoblade Chronicles 3D for the 3DS. I've got to get through that this summer. It's my goal. It's a huge game. It's like a 100+ hour RPG, but I've got to finish that before I get to Chronicles X for the Wii U eventually. Hopefully before the Wii U dies. So yeah, Chronicles 3D. And I'm also playing through, you guys are going to laugh, Rise for Xbox One.
Oh, come on.
Which is like, it's like the Xbox's version of The Order, where it's just super cinematic. Walk forward, stuff happens around you. Keep walking forward, more stuff happens around you. Keep walking forward to get to a battle, and then stuff happens around you. And keep walking forward.
I'd almost rather you play The Order because The Order is more of a game.
It is. The Order is. I did like The Order more than I like this, but Rise is. It's just every level seems to be copy paste to the previous level, but it's a short game. It's like 6 hours, and I'm halfway through it, so I'll just kind of finish. I doubt I'll get through it by the end of this weekend because we got E3 coming up. But so that's what I've been playing. Some old games, some new games, probably a few more stuck in there somewhere. But yeah, Doomsday Clicker. Everybody get Doomsday Clicker. What about you, Tom? What have you been playing since you like to harass me every time?
I have been playing the hot new game, The Witcher 3.
Nice. Good.
Because I got a code for that new thing.
Oh, okay.
Blood and Wine?
Blood and Wine.
Nice.
And then I booted that up to play that, and then I realized that I wasn't at the level, and I still hadn't played the Hearts of Stone thing that came out a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing that with 2 hours of that. That's really cool, even though it, like, uses the same areas and like a lot of the same assets and all that stuff. It's still, like, the storytelling is top-notch, as it always is in those games. The characterizations and the stuff that goes on are always like weird and precarious situations that I really like. So yeah, that's just more Witcher. I
have it. I've played like 8 hours of The Witcher, and I've it's on my list. Eventually this year, I'm hoping I can get to The Witcher. And
it's so good.
Yeah. Yep.
It's been
I want to restart it on PC, like kind of.
Yep.
And I never even got into Gwent or any of that stuff. Like,
well, you might be able to on phones because there's big signs for it at E3 all over the place, apparently.
Well, they already announced it, didn't they?
No, not formally.
Not formally.
Like, there's a logo out there.
Well, not only is there a logo, but there's Brian Shea, our good friend over at Game Informer, was walking around. He's walking around downtown LA, and he's seeing signs for over the Figueroa, which is our hangout spot. There's a big like CD Projekt Red. It's all the Witcher characters, and they're in a bar holding drinks.
It looks like the first side looks like bad Witcher cosplay.
Doesn't it? Yeah, it's great. It's great.
That makes me so happy. I love Gwent. I have a full deck over there, or the decks from GameStop.
I'll definitely start playing that.
It's so good.
What else have you been playing, Tom?
I played more Hitman because they released a new map for that.
Cool. Is that the Marrakesh?
Marrakesh, yeah. And that they let you do some real cool stuff in that game.
You know what's funny is that when they announced the structure for Hitman, people were getting pissed off initially, but then it's turned out really well because they've regularly released missions and levels every month, and everything I've heard about the game is that it's well put together, and it's something that Square Enix is it Square Enix? Square Enix, yeah. Right. So get on Square Enix and IDOS and whoever is making it.
Yeah, every month there's a new huge Hitman map. This one's probably the most interesting out of all of them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because instead of it being like a clean, like pristine area, you're like just sneaking around and there are like waiters and everything. It's actually like an area amidst revolution, so you can like start trouble that way. You can go to the crowds. You can kill someone with a toilet.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
so it's like
someone with a toilet.
So it's like after Thanksgiving dinner, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I drowned a guy in a pool of his own vomit. That was pretty cool.
So it really is like after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and I think that's it.
Awesome.
It's been a busy couple weeks.
Well, all the prepping and planning and everything. Yeah, and we'll get into that shortly here. Sam, what have you been playing?
I'd like to say that I've been playing a lot, but really, anytime I have free time, it's pretty much exclusively Overwatch at this point.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
that's a game, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, I played that too.
God, gosh, a game lifestyle. I don't know. That man,
Blizzard nails it every time, man.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that game. And hey, Tom, you shouldn't have mains, or if you do, you should have like 5 of them. But yeah, there's just not one of those characters are boring to play.
Okay.
Just the game is very different from just playing it online by yourself and just getting into random pools to even having 3 friends playing it, or if you're in a full party of 6. Because there's some strategies that only seem to work if you're on voice chat with people, and just playing that online and running into since there's no meta, it's not like a MOBA now where you have defined metas at some point. It's just everybody's own interpretation. Sure, the pros or whatever have their setups that they tend to do, but console and PC players are very different. I've gotten a chance to play on both. Yeah, and just seeing what people come up with to answer certain situations. We had a I don't know what the character's actual name is, but there's a turret dude that we've just been calling Toblerone. And it's some Nordic name, but we just been calling him Toblerone.
Which is it's an Italian chocolate.
Yeah.
Nordic name.
Yeah,
Italian.
it's like Treborn or something like that, but we've just been calling him Toblerone. Where an entire team of Toblerones was set up in a base with their turrets, and just hearing somebody.
Hold on. Could you imagine an entire team of Toblerone bars?
Exactly. Well, they were just standing there like a candy bar would. So. But just hearing people on voice chat that you don't yell it's monkey time, and seeing 4 Winstons come out to deal with the situation, it's just so different than any multiplayer experience really that I've had on consoles. I mean, with friends it's pretty much the same as we're grouping as 6 or 3 or 4, however many playing along. But I've actually seen or heard people using voice chat on PlayStation 4, which I've never done throughout its entire history. People are actually using the in-game emotes to call out stuff about grouping and letting people know that their ultimates are ready. It's just very weird. It's from what I've been seeing, and I'm sure this is different for a lot of people. It's almost the normal Blizzard fan base has finally agreed to move over to consoles and keep acting like they did. During Diablo multiplayer and stuff like that, because I've almost never had a bad experience with Blizzard multiplayer games, and it seems Overwatch is continuing that trend. Plus, all the auxiliary stuff that's been coming out about Overwatch is just super exciting. Blizzard's own movies they've been making for those. Just the fan base in general. What was it? Just seeing people's fan art and stuff like that, even before the game was out. Blizzard has once again created such a unique game in both visuals and gameplay that it's probably going to continue being a staple I was going to say Hearts of Stone, Hearthstone, and Blizzard Dota has, or what is that called now? Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm, yeah.
Also so good.
Yeah,
also
exactly.
So good.
Well, it just ignores what shooters have been doing for the last 5 years. There's XP bars, but it's just going to lead to vanity item loot crates that. Who cares? But you can spend $50 on 100 of them if you want.
It just is Blizzard following the trend of making what are usually impenetrable things really accessible, right? Like Hearthstone, and this in particular. The thing that I really like about Overwatch, which I don't feel people talk about enough, is that it doesn't really it only shows you the good things. So there's not that thing at the end that goes, oh, here's your ranking, Call of Duty style. It's oh, you beat your personal best, or this is you did so much. It's you telling you all of the good stuff you did to keep you going, as opposed to comparing. Yeah. It only compares you against yourself.
Well, and so like everybody, what's so great about that game is when you first start it is you feel like every game you should be the one that's getting play of the game. Like that, like every time you do something cool, you're like, oh well, that's definitely going to be play of the game.
Well,
And
play of the
then,
game is broken as fuck.
yeah,
though.
play of the game is broken as all hell. But like you think you're going to be play of the game, or like even if your team loses, well, first of all, I'm fully against if your team loses that you get play of the game. Like that makes no sense. It's like, oh, what the best play from the losing team deserves play of the game. Oh, okay.
It's always like some dude who just like is Bastion and turns into a turret and kills like.
Yeah. Exactly. Somebody ulted and they killed more people than you did at one time. Like, great, but you still lost. But the cards at the end where you can vote for people, like I always like, even if I lose, like I tend to, I'll vote for the other team if their healer was, being explicitly a dick to me or like was causing problems that was like we almost didn't win because of this person. Like they do deserve like some credibility. And I don't think that even gives people bonuses and XP. And stuff like that. It's more of just like, hey, like this guy carried you, like maybe you should give him a thumbs up. And oh man, it's so nice. It's so nice to be able to find like a shooter and a game really that like although you're doing the same things you were doing in hour 1, like hour 30 you're still learning strategies and still learning like different quirks of characters. That, like, just because you have literally never seen that situation play out in front of you before, and now you have alternatives to the next time something comes close to that. It's just really good, and it's only going to get better, I'm sure. Knowing Blizzard, they probably have some, I would assume, content plan for it, other than just like, oh, here's some maps and some new characters. I think we're going to see that game evolve over the next year or so, and maybe even into a MOBA. There's no reason they can't do that type of stuff. They have a shooting foundation for anything they want to do now, which is interesting for Blizzard.
Yeah, they've. What's left? I mean, a fighting game. Is there a Blizzard, Warcraft fighting game coming out? I guess the only thing that Blizzard can't do well is movies, but whatever.
Oh.
I want to see that movie so bad.
I'm gonna go see it. I think it's comes out this weekend, right? We're talking about.
No, it's out already.
I saw it out at my theater.
Oh, you saw it?
Well, I haven't seen it, but I saw it on the sign.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go check it out this weekend, more than likely tomorrow night or something. Excellent. Well, let's move on right now because next week is E3, and without further ado, there have already been a ton of things news bites that have broken, and a lot more that are coming. But I think maybe the best way to approach this is to go over some, I think, five news items which I found, which I think could work, and I've posted them on SideQuesting's website, and then we'll go into our predictions for E3. And it's going to be a very interesting E3 this year because obviously there's a lot of rumors floating around for what the console holders are going to do. Companies have bailed on E3. We talked about this in the previous episode where folks like Activision and EA and Bethesda and everybody, they're kind of off doing their own thing. But Nintendo scaled back and so on. So
Scale back is putting it lightly.
Scale back is putting it lightly, yeah. So it's going to be very interesting, but there still has been a ton of news coming out prior to E3, and so I'll kind of go down the list. The first one, Horizon Zero Dawn, is now pushed back into 2017. So it's no longer coming out this year, and that's the robot dinosaur game for the PS4. That looked fantastic when we saw it like a year and a half ago, I think. Or was it last year or a year and a half?
It was last year.
Last year.
It was like the surprise at Sony's conference.
Okay, so that's been pushed back into 2017. It was initially supposed to be this fall, but they're giving it a little bit more time to bake, which is always great for us gamers because the longer a game is out there, it tends to get better. People fix their bugs, but yeah, so it was a little disappointing for some because now there seems to be a kind of a gaping hole or another big hole in Sony's lineup if you're not into VR, and even VR, we don't know what's going to be popping out. But so yeah, Horizon. Were any of you interested in that game, or were any of you looking forward to that?
I am so psyched for that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not surprised it got delayed though. That always seems to be like Sony's big holiday game gets pushed back a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That happened with Uncharted 4.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't happen again like it did with Uncharted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And then one
Well-
last time like it did with Uncharted.
Well,
Aw.
I bet you that PlayStation Neo visuals for that Horizon Zero Dawn are gonna look real good.
Not even. I just want like a nice frame rate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean that's we'll get to Neo, but that's part of the reasoning that maybe that is why they're pushing some of these games back. But another game that finally has a release date, also coming out early next year now, is Persona 5, and that was. What was that?
It was me slapping my desk because I thought it was going to be this year, and I'm real angry
well,
about it.
we all thought it was going to be this year because they initially announced it. It was in 2014 they announced it, and then they said it was going to come out in 2015. Then it missed 2015, and it's 2016. Oh, sorry, 2016 for Japan, 2017 for the US. It comes out on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I already cleared with my girlfriend that we're going to celebrate the weekend before.
I was just about to ask who's got that special edition pre-ordered. 'Cause I do.
I
Yeah,
do. I pre-ordered it just to be a part of the whole shebang, I guess. I've never played a Persona game, so.
Oh, you should though.
I have
Oh.
P4G.
good.
I have P4G on my poor Vita, but yeah.
P4G is almost a perfect game.
I wish. Hopefully Sony will allow Vita games to be playable on or like some of them to be playable on PS4, because I would play P4G like crazy.
I have an idea. How about you take both of those Xenoblade games, you throw them in the garbage,
Oh.
and you play that instead.
I
Guarantee
heard it's so
better
good.
Experience.
Oh man. It's funny because when I went through my list of games I need to play, and I didn't put a single Vita game on there. I don't know if that's because I had forgotten about the Vita, or I just felt bad because I haven't played a game on there in probably a year and a half. Sever is maybe the only game that I've been looking forward to in the Vita, so that just came out like a few weeks ago. But anyways, P5, everyone's looking forward to that. That looks fantastic. Even I'm looking forward to it, and I've never played a Persona game. So another game that was announced that nobody knew about until this week. Saints Row developer Volition, their next game, Agents of Mayhem.
It looks so good.
It looks so good. It's basically you're part of a superhero squad. You choose up to like three characters out of a team of or
12.
a pool of 12, and you're part of Mayhem. And I'm not going to go through the acronym, but you're going up against Legion. I'm not going to go with that acronym. Who are the bad guys? And they all have fantastic names. All the characters do. They're kind of like a mix of Austin Powers / Marvel, early 1940s Marvel Comics characters. So, but it takes place in the future in Korea, and it's another open world style game. And while it's not a Saints Row sequel, Saints Row 4 was the last Saints Row game a couple years ago, and earlier this year it was they released an HD version. There is a lot of thematic and iconic ties to the Saints Row universe. Right?
I got so mad when I watched this trailer reveal at work that I got up and I walked out of the office for 10 minutes.
Because it wasn't Saints Row?
Because they fucking it is the exact logo treatment.
It is
down to the background, and she literally makes a joke about it being a street gang.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they pull back, and one of the fucking dudes on the weird Sele Evangelion signs is named Altor, and it's all this stuff. And I got so angry because all I want in my life is another Saints Row game.
Well, this should be as crazy as Saints Row, and actually being superheroes, I think, will allow them to get even crazier with the character designs and the plot and the story.
The last Saints Row game
was awesome.
Ended with them finding a time machine.
Yes. Maybe this is the future, and they're all here in this time machine, so you never know.
Oh, what if the Saints the bad guys?
Do you remember? Yeah, wow, dude, there you go. Do you remember the first two Saints Row games were just knockoffs of Grand Theft Auto?
Not only the first one.
Was it the first one? Okay. And what was the second one? Second one kind
The
of got a
second
little,
one was when it got
campier.
real weird, and you were like spraying buildings with a septic tank, and like
Oh, and then the third one was the dildo, right? The giant purple.
third one might be
Yeah.
one of the best games of all time. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd love if they made another Red Faction game, although they don't own that license anymore. I think Nordic Games
Nah.
picked up Red Faction, but Volition did Red Faction. They did an outstanding job with that. So,
What was the good one? It was Gorilla, right?
Gorilla, the one that was it was another open world game where the graphics weren't great, the plot wasn't great, the controls weren't great,
That disintegration
missions
gun
weren't
though.
great, but everything worked together to make just a stupid fun experience because you can go in there and be completely mindless. It was my first real sandbox game that I got into. So, anyways, Agents of Mayhem, I'm excited for it. I still remember the very first time I saw Saints Row 3 when they announced it at E3, like 2010, I think it was, or something like that, and flipping out, going bonkers for it on the show floor. And they said, yeah, nobody's coming by to take a look at our game, but it's the next Saints Row game. This is the Volition guys. And I saw it, and we're laughing hysterically, and I kept thinking, like, this is my game of show. It was so good. I think it ended up being one of our games of the year.
Did you finish that game?
Saints Row 3. No, I didn't because it fell in the backlog. So.
Did you get to the point where it becomes the secret best wrestling video game?
Oh yeah, I did get to that point. Yeah. Also, Injustice 2 is real. It's coming 2017, and a trailer was released. And let's hope this is better than Batman vs Superman, and is the DC Comics multiverse that we really need. So yeah, they've been doing the every 2 years. Is it every 2? Yeah, every 2 years they're releasing a new NetherRealm game. So last year they released Mortal Kombat, but they announced it the year before. This year they announced Injustice to release next year. I'm sure in 2 years they're going to announce Mortal Kombat 11, and kind of flip flop back and forth. But was anybody a fan of Injustice?
I like the comics
Okay.
of Injustice. I like the story that they do. I just don't.
And the
really
story,
like
the
that style
plot
of
was
fighting games.
fantastic in the first Injustice game, and that came out like on every console, every device. And I think it was a free PS Plus game as well, and I have that loaded up somewhere. But I'm really looking forward to it. The designs are always a lot of fun. The stuff that you could do with DC Comics is fantastic, and seeing another evil Superman is always cool. So. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I guess a lot of people were looking forward to it. Although I know WWE Immortals would have been another fun one to work with, but I know they can't.
What if they gave all the WWE characters power suits?
That would be awesome. Then it would be awesome. Totally. Another bit of news. Another thing that was announced was Lego Dimensions Year 2 or Season 2, whatever you want to call it. You have like A-Team, Harry Potter, Gremlins, the new Ghostbusters, Goonies. Fantastic Beasts, so the list goes on and on.
Adventure Time's in there.
Beetlejuice, and these are just the Sonic the Hedgehog. These are just the announced ones, and they're
I
all
can't
more in the pop.
wait to buy all those on clearance when they cancel that. When they shut down that whole studio in about a year.
That's mean. That's mean. Well, I think they're smart in not releasing a whole second Lego Dimensions game and just saying, hey, here's Year 2 content.
I bought that game.
What's that?
I bought that game recently.
I haven't bought it yet. I have a bunch of the sets because they look cool with the Doctor Who stuff and the other things. But I still need to get it. I'm sure it'll be on sale here pretty soon.
It was on sale for like $40 over here, and I think
it was I think Best Buy over here as well, or Walmart.
It cost like $100, right?
That's the Lego price tag that they jack on there.
Fuck, it's a video game.
But it's Legos. Anyways, I immediately the Gremlins and the Goonies. I gotta get it. They look fantastic. I own a bunch of the sets and I haven't bought the game, so maybe this will finally push me over to get the game. But I'm glad they're doing it this way instead of pumping out a whole new box. And maybe there was a second box that they had talked about doing, but after seeing the Disney Infinity collapse, they decided let's scale back and just put these sets out and see how they do. It is minimal effort for them to do this instead of getting a whole another $100 box out there. So yeah, more Lego Dimensions stuff. And finally, the last bit of news. Destiny's next expansion, Rise of Iron, has officially been revealed. It's coming in September. and it is Game of Thrones in the future with laser guns. I don't know if you guys saw that trailer, but there's dire wolves, there's a big wall, there's a frozen tundra, there's White Walkers,
herd of Galahorn.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's guns. No, so it's Game of Thrones. No,
they're wolves.
They're wolves. So I said they're dire wolves.
Oh,
this is the last expansion, last big expansion before Destiny 2. Oh, excuse me. This liquor is starting to wear off. Before Destiny 2 arrives in 2017, I think they said. So, but are any of you still playing Destiny?
No.
Oh, there. Okay. Well, Tom is. Are you looking forward to Iron Throne, whatever it's called? Okay.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. There's a flaming hammer, Dolly.
That's true. What was the name of that gun or that new weapon? The Galahorn or something like that.
No, that's not the new one. That's the one that's
yeah, and then they exactly.
No,
it's back in black apparently.
Back in black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for that game. You're ignoring probably the biggest news story, Dolly.
Which is
the Doritos stage.
I'm actually staring at that right now. So this is pretty awesome. Why don't you explain what this is? Pretty awesome.
So they want to build. I think they are currently in the process of building a 6 foot tall stage. 6 story tall stage shaped like an arcade cabinet for.
This is a stage. A stage they're building.
Wait,
they're at E3.
Wait, are they building this out of Doritos? I'm very confused.
Sponsored by Doritos.
Asking the important questions.
Then what's the point?
Sam Dixon.
We build a giant box not made of Doritos.
For Steve Aoki, Wiz Khalifa, Big Boy, and DJ Jazzy Jeff to play inside.
And you're going to have free Doritos for everyone, so when Doritos are there and your hands are all greasy and you're holding controllers, it's going to be fantastic.
Oh.
No, this is kind of like a combination of E3 Live, because E3 is doing their live thing, and then the Electronic Arts EA Play. So they're mixing all this together and saying, this is kind of the link between EA Play and E3 Live and E3. So it's funny because it could end up being the nightly party. It takes place every night, right, of E3. It could be the party to go to. I mean, there's all these parties. www.sidequesting.com has the best list on the planet. But this one, I think, is the one I'm actually kind of interested in the most, surprisingly. And it's free! And hopefully there'll be Doritos, which I haven't had Doritos in months because of my stupid weight loss kick. So I'm going to load up on the calories there. But the best part of the show, the best part of any pre-E3 show is predictions. And I'd love to get into our predictions now. So what I've tasked everybody... I see Sam is stretching. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
One last thing I wanted to ask you. What do you think, as someone who's been spending a lot of time in the Bay Area, what did you think of that Watch Dogs trailer?
Oh, I forgot Watch Dogs 2 officially announced. I didn't see the Watch Dogs 2 trailer yet.
You can pet dogs in it, Dolly.
I've heard that. You can actually watch dogs. It's pet _dogs.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that trailer today. I've heard you can pet dogs. That's good.
They model homeless people on the street. They are dudes walking around with Google Cardboard and VR headsets.
Great. Oh, jeez. Suddenly I'm interested.
It's San Francisco as fuck.
No, how interested I am. Excuse me. I never played the first Watch Dogs.
It's not great.
But what is probably going to happen, and what I'm thinking is going to happen with this, is that they're going to start alternating Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed, which they should have done a long time ago. So yeah, you're going to have Watch Dogs this year, Assassin's Creed next year, Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed, and then go back and forth like that. So, anyways, prediction time. This is a part of every E3 podcast that everybody loves, and I love this part. And so I've asked everybody to come up with three that they kind of feel good about, and then one that's just crazy or off the wall or whatever, the unexpected ones. So we'll each do one of our own, and then we'll kind of keep going around. Who wants to go first?
Tom had his hand up first.
Tom goes first.
I think Xbox One exclusives are done.
Really? What do you mean?
Like true Xbox One exclusives, like as we know them, I think they're done due to that whole universal Windows platform thing.
Oh, yeah, with the Windows 10.
I think they're gonna.
I think they're gonna announce that like all of the stuff that was previously announced is also going to be on PC, like Gears of War.
I can see that.
And I think there's that console is just never going to have a true you can only get this on this console experience again.
Well, they've been hinting at that, and so even some of their E3 PR, the PR wording over the last couple weeks has talked about, see what's coming to Xbox and Windows 10. See what's coming to Xbox and Windows 10.
I didn't realize that last year Windows 10 wasn't out yet.
Right. They briefly mentioned it because they did the redesign of the layout, but this year they've nonstop talking about Windows 10. So.
And also, I totally predict that people are going to get real mad, and it's going to be real hilarious.
That'll be the best part. So I'm going to write down. I'm writing all these down. So Windows 10, Xbox One. All right, let's go to Robin. Robin, what's your first prediction?
Okay. For Bethesda-wise, if they don't have a new Elder Scrolls game, I think they're going to remaster Skyrim.
Oh, okay. Cool, because that engine works so well on current consoles.
Well, Fallout was essentially based on the Skyrim engine for the new consoles, so I think they're just going to hoist Skyrim over and then have it have the same mod capabilities that Fallout 4 has.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it has to be, because it's not even based on the engine. It is literally Gamebryo. It is literally the same thing. So the fact that Skyrim is still not available backwards compatibly, and it's up to the publisher, that has to be it, right?
Yeah.
There was like a weird list that had dropped where they had Skyrim remastered on there, along with some other Bethesda ones, but.
Goodbye Life.
Goodbye Life, which is great for me because I'm looking at Skyrim right now on my second level of pile of shame. So
my God, Dolly, you didn't play
No, I played.
You played Link's Crossbow Training.
I played a whole 2.5 hours of Skyrim before.
Oh, but you played the entirety of Link's Crossbow Training.
The entirety of Link's Crossbow Training.
We need that person from Game of Thrones to ring the bell and say shame.
Shame. Shame. The Septon. I'm going to go next, and I'm going to say we're actually going to see Shadow of Mordor 2, which I loved. Shadow of Mordor. And there hasn't, I wouldn't say there have been hints or anything, but it just seems like it's right. It's the time. It's been a couple years now, and the first Shadow of Mordor was so good. I'm so glad I got into it. It was my type of open world game, and I think Shadow of Mordor 2 has to happen. I think so, and I think we're going to hear that at the Xbox conference actually. But I'll say Shadow of Mordor 2, and for the win.
Okay.
Did you all like the initial one?
I did, but I don't know. Like, I really want a sequel, but I also don't know what the hell that game would be.
Well, it left a lot of threads, and that world is huge to work with. So I could see them going all over. Like I see better character development, character selection type of stuff. I'd love to go into the dwarves and be a dwarf. I think that would be fantastic with like dwarf lifestyle. That'd be cool. But at least not hobbits. All right, let's go to Sam. Sam, what's your first?
Well, I think, first of all, at EA we're going to see about like 50% of their stuff is going to be Star Wars based this year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's still an extra adventure game they haven't shown, right?
Yeah. And part of me feels like the reason we didn't see that Criterion game last year is that somehow got converted into a Star Wars game.
Okay.
What that means and what that could be, I have no idea.
More pod racing?
Well, possibly, or even like maybe have it as something like a trader or something, and then you're dealing with a lot of like Star Wars vehicles that like we've seen in auxiliary and other projects, but like have never gotten to actually take the wheel of, and maybe we do now.
That's been super quiet. You're right. That game was 2 years ago, and when they first showed off the other futuristic world that BioWare was working on. Good call on that one.
Yeah, they announced that and Battlefront at the same conference, didn't they? That's
yes.
They showed the original teaser.
Yeah. Well, and the only thing they just showed a bunch of people talking about like how cool Criterion was, and they showed like one picture of like an ATV and like a
dune buggy.
Yeah, a dune buggy, like one of those like glider things from like Pilot Wings.
Oh yeah.
So like who knows what that is, or if it's even a thing anymore.
All right, Tom, what's your next one?
I think at Sony, Hideo Kojima is going to come on stage and just like hang out for a few minutes and not actually show anything.
Yeah, I have written on my outlandish one. Kojima Productions gets way too much time for what they have to show at Sony's presser.
I think he's going to be
Which
there.
is a logo.
Yeah.
I think he's going to show up. Him and Sony are both going to talk about how happy they are to be in each other's embrace, and then he's going to leave, and they're not even going to show a logo for a game.
Oh, wonderful. Robin, what's your second one?
Okay, so my second one's kind of wrapped up with my outlandish prediction because it's been quiet on the Mass Effect Andromeda game for some time, so I think we're going to learn more about that. But I also think we're going to get a Mass Effect remaster to kind of lead up to Andromeda and have people get primed on the universe, like a new audience for the new console generation. So that would be my outlandish one, is the idea of a Mass Effect trilogy remaster.
What if the Mass Effect game we get is for a phone, and you have to like delegate your things? And you just keep tapping things, and the numbers keep getting higher.
What if it's a Mass Effect clicker?
That's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. I'm gonna hop in now. My second one, and I have this whole huge list of things that I'd come up with. I think this year we're gonna get Viva Pinata. I think we're gonna Viva Pinata reveal because that's a game that everybody wants, and it's so easy. And Xbox and PlayStation are missing that family fun game. So Viva Pinata would be perfect. Hell, even if it was like an amiibo style Viva Pinata, I think that would sell like crazy. So I'm thinking Viva Pinata is gonna make a comeback to Xbox One. It's funny because I went through looking at Xbox One first party IPs, and there was nothing that popped out over the last 10 years of Xbox that was remotely interesting because you have Crackdown. Okay, we know that's coming. Halo. Gears of War, it's like, all right, we got getting the same ones over and over again. And I saw Viva Pinata, I'm thinking, it's been like a solid 7 years since the Viva Pinata game came out, or something crazy like that. So I'm all in. Viva Pinata, I'm calling it right now. We're going to get something in the Viva Pinata vein.
I really want a new Viva Pinata game. As someone relatively new to it.
Yeah, same here.
My friend Katie talked me into playing it last fall, and I've returned to it a few times since then. It's just a fun, lighthearted game, so I would not be opposed to a new one at all.
Very cool. Very cool. Sam, what's your next one?
I think we finally get a look at CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077. Again, that's another thing where they were like, here's an image, and we're going to make it, and it might be kind of like The Witcher, but who knows? We'll see in 5 years. So
you're all going to want it, no matter what.
Yeah. So they announced that game before The Witcher 3 came out, if I remember correctly, and like I think they've said a few times that they're definitely still working on it. But I think now would be the time to show it. Other than, they might have this Gwent physical card game or cell phone game, so maybe that's their main focus. Other than just talking about how good The Witcher 3 was doing. But yeah, I think it's finally time to show that since we haven't seen anything on it, and I think with the success of The Witcher 3 and even Blood and Wine's been apparently reviewing super well, strike while the iron's hot and keep that name in people's heads and be like, hey, remember how good we did on The Witcher 3? We're going to keep doing it, but in the future this time.
All right, Tom, what is your next prediction?
I think Microsoft is going to have a increased push in the VR space.
Okay.
Okay.
Because they had that thing popped up. You see that thing that popped up on the E3 website?
Yeah, the Xbox VR.
The whole category for Xbox VR.
Yeah.
And seeing it, they already have a partnership with Oculus, and that thing comes with an Xbox One controller. I could totally see that. It's like not a sexy or interesting prediction, but I could totally see them like going whole hog, especially now that Sony's fucking headset is coming out this year.
Yep. Looks like that's going to be Sony's big push. And there's, we know the rumors of the Xbox Elite coming out next year, and the Xbox Elite coming out this year. They've already dropped the price of the Xbox One. It's funny because I've told people, I've had a couple of friends that have asked me, should I get a PS4 and Xbox One? And I said, don't get either right now because prices are going to be dropping big time. And then like no sooner do I say that than the Xbox One price drops like $50. And they're going to release the new Xbox One, the light version, which will be a better one. The PS4, I'm sure they might drop in price. So
you can get an official Xbox refurb right now for $188.
Yeah, exactly. So that may be the direction to go in. But yeah, Xbox VR, I think that's going to happen too, and I'm pretty excited to see what comes of it because the VR space right now is so splintered. Sony has their completely separate for their console with different technical aspects. They're far below Oculus and extremely far below the HTC
Those
Valve
screens
product.
are hot garbage. If you guys remember those things from PAX.
But I ordered it, so just like VR that actually works.
Guys, I ordered a Vive.
And you got the Vive. Well, are you going to sell that too, like you did with the Rift?
No, we got
You sold your Rift?
I sold both my Rifts.
Shame.
Shame.
I sold one of them to my boss. But we got a Vive in the office, and I don't think there's anything I want more in this life than one of those now.
The Vive, to me, I mean, that's the pinnacle one. That's why I've always said if you're going to get one VR headset, you're going to get the Vive.
It feels like a second-generation product.
It does. It really does. Because the Oculus Rift feels like a first-generation product, and the PlayStation feels like a last-generation product. I think the PSVR is going to be great for consumers. It's going to get people interested. But they're really going to have to push that Vive into consumers. I would actually, I know everyone's sold on Oculus coming to Xbox One, but Microsoft should go all out and say our Xbox Elite is going to be so powerful that the Vive is going to work. You know what? The Vive works on Windows 10, doesn't it?
Valve is so hardcore against Microsoft.
But the Vive does work on Windows 10. Yeah, they are. So I'm curious if it'll be that way because the Oculus to me is right in the middle. It's closer obviously to the Vive level, but the Vive is just the all powerful VR.
Yeah, it
one
is
you
like
really want.
a future product that came to a time vortex,
exactly.
like it is.
So we'll see. I mean, it's a few days away. Robin, what's your second or your third? I should say.
I was going to talk about how I thought that the Xbox Elite was being made for the explicit purpose of being competitive with VR. So I'm going to be desperate now and say that Last Guardian's going to get a release date at E3. And it's going to be within a year, meaning it might be Q1 2017, but it could still come out this year.
What if they're like, oh, and also it's out right now.
That's like my pipe dream, that they're like, you can get it right now, at which point I'd like run screaming to...
Computer gets turned off, stream dies, and the Sony stream would like drop to a quarter of what was watching.
You can see the views plummet immediately.
I actually do think it'll come out this year. I think The Last Guardian is their big game for this year because they're going to be pushing VR.
Are you saying that Last Guardian might be in VR? Is that what you're insinuating?
No. I'm saying The Last Guardian is going to arrive this year because everything else they're going to be pushing is VR.
Okay, good, because there's only so many things my heart can handle, and that giant puppy griffin thing in VR is not one of them.
I mean, I do think that's one of the reasons they pushed No Man's Sky back to August. Yes, to make it better, but I also think it's a big strategic timing thing because you're going to have No Man's Sky, then you have like a lot of the multiplayer, multi-platform stuff, then you're going to have PSVR in October, and Gran Turismo, and then you're going to have Last Guardian in probably November or something. So.
What if No Man's Sky is going to be in VR?
It has to be, right?
It really has to be.
It has to be. It has to be. I'm going to go with my third one, and again, my list is all over the place here. But I'm gonna push it a little bit, and the way I'm gonna push it is I'm gonna say, oh God, I have other ones. I'll list the other ones afterwards. We're gonna get a Microsoft Xbox social game or experience. Remember 1 vs. 100? Everybody loved 1 vs. 100. Microsoft desperately needs, and they've announced they're starting to leave the TV stuff behind, the entertainment stuff. They're gonna focus on gaming. Xbox Live is still pretty strong. I'd love to see them get that concept up and rolling again. So I'm going to say some type of social online experience, whether it's 1 versus 100 again or something to that level. I don't know, but something big and online and social and free, perhaps, that's going to come out in the Xbox One. I think they need a big hook right now besides a price drop and Gears of War 4. So that's my third one. Sam, do you have another one?
Yeah, we've been talking about all the Windows 10 and Microsoft Xbox One stuff, and I agree. I think we're going to see VR support for Xbox One at least some sort. Or like the other thing I was thinking about is maybe some form of Windows 10 like VR that interacts with players on Xbox One. And I was thinking that ReCore might be a game that they use to like sample that. Since that game seems to be about like embodying like spirits of other things, it seems kind of like VR could be utilized in that somehow or another. Since again, one more game that we've only seen like 15 seconds of the CGI trailer and have absolutely no basis in what the gameplay actually is. So I'm thinking that game has some form of VR support, whether it's on Xbox One or Windows 10, and it won't be only an Xbox One exclusive as they've been pitching it.
Excellent. How about Tom? What's your big crazy one, or do you have a big crazy one?
How crazy do we consider a Sucker Punch Spider-Man game?
You know what? I almost wrote that down myself actually.
Because I'm between that and Warner putting out a Suicide Squad game. I don't know which one I want to go on.
That would be great, but it's too late to announce anything because the movie's already.
I don't know. That's gonna be an ongoing franchise.
That's true. All right, I like that. So which one are you gonna pick?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
No, that would be dope as shit.
And everybody's super high on Spider-Man right now, and Sucker Punch. They did Infamous, right? And so they're people were expecting a new Infamous game, Infamous Clicker. Maybe that'll happen, but it's a Spider-Man game by Sucker Punch. I mean, the last Infamous game was Spider-Man-ish, and just the timing is perfect. And Sony, of course, has the distribution rights for the Spider-Man movies, so I think the timing could be perfect for that.
Just think about
coming out next year when the next Spider-Man movie comes out or something. I'm not sure.
What if instead of in Infamous, when he was shooting neon things, it was web instead?
Could be.
That would be cool. But yeah, I'd play the hell out of
that. Robin, do you have any more? Do you have a crazy one, just something that's completely off the wall bonkers? You're muted, Robin.
Okay, there we go. Thank you.
She spilled the whole beans on everything.
Yeah, like I was talking about things that had to be censored out of the podcast. They were not ready to be revealed.
They were
yet.
watching you, yeah.
They were. They know that I know.
Mm-hmm.
No, I already kind of reached for Last Guardian and Mass Effect being remastered, so I think that's about as crazy as I can get.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna say, all right, this is a tough one for me because I do have a couple that are out there from a game perspective, and I wanted to say Red Dead Redemption 2, but I'm not going to.
You say Bully 2 instead?
Bully 2. That's
yes.
awesome.
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, I wanted to say Battletoads because that one it's been hinted at.
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot. I've thought Resident Evil 7, Crackdown 3 this year, a Conquer game, a Halo 16. I've had just ideas up the wazoo.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Sam got me thinking. How is there? I just googled it. How is there not a rapper named Cash Bandicoot?
Oh my gosh!
Tom, you've unlocked your destiny now. You must become a rapper somehow.
Dude, that is amazing. That is now the official Cash Bandicoot. That's our new mascot. No, so here's what I'm gonna say. We are gonna get, and this is gonna make people go absolutely ape shit. So last year What was it that made everyone go ape shit during the Sony press conference? I was like, oh, Sony.
Which thing? Take a guess. Take a pick.
Final Fantasy VII.
Because that thing was basically fan fiction. The comic.
Exactly. So there is one game series out there that has so much fan fiction behind it and has such a massive following. I'm not talking about Sonic. That people are kicking themselves for a new game in this series being released. And I'm talking about Mega Man. We will get a new Mega Man game. It'll be announced at Sony's press conference. They're going to bring out who's the Street Fighter director? I forget Ono. Is his name Ono? I'm sorry. I'm horrible with every name these days. They're gonna bring him out. He's gonna talk about Street Fighter, and then he's gonna say, "Oh wait, there's one more little thing," and then you're gonna see like a quick mention or a trailer for Mega Man, and people are gonna lose their fucking minds, and that'll come out next year. But that's my Mega Man, and I don't know what it'll be called, but it'll just be a new Mega Man game. So maybe it'll just be called Mega Man. So there we go. That's my crazy bonkers one, and that announcement alone is gonna win E3.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, do you have any last crazy ideas? Anything else?
One of them is more of just a sad prophecy, but the other one is my own fan fiction that I've been trying to write for the last 3 E3s, I think.
Uh-huh.
I think that Nintendo shows off Zelda Wii U or
This
Zelda
is the
whatever.
this is the first mention of Nintendo the entire time.
Which is sad but very true. So I think they show Zelda, but at the end, since this is an anniversary for Zelda this year, and it sounds like the game's not coming out until next year now, I think we see a family-friendly, some type of Wii U experience, probably smaller for Zelda. Something maybe not not a board game like Amiibo Party, but something that you can play with multiple people, based in the Zelda franchise.
You know that? Have you played the Zelda part of Nintendo Land?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's a ton of fun. I would love to see a full game like that.
Well, and the thing I want the most is to have some form of like a link between worlds, but 4-player co-op on the same screen on a Wii U. And then maybe the Wii U gamepad does something
like
with
the Four Swords Adventures that was on the GameCube, but maybe to the actual level of Wii U. Okay.
Yeah, I desperately want that really bad. And then my other sad prediction is they say they show another line of Amiibo that everybody's gonna want. And then they go, and then they say, "Don't worry, these will work on the NX," and Nintendo fans lose it and they're happy for once. But I mean, to be honest though, I think it'll go the other way, and they'll be like, "Sorry, we're gonna upgrade the Amiibos, so now you need these special
Amiibo level 2. You
need these special NX Amiibos."
Amiibo do need it for all intents and purposes. Amiibo do need an upgrade because they only work with one game. I'd love an Amiibo to work as being able to save data to it in a bunch of different games. That would be ideal. But
shit! I just realized it. Do you guys think Bethesda's gonna show Battle Cry?
Oh my God! I remember I brought that game up. I said, "Whatever happened to Battle Cry?"
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I think I brought it up during maybe you missed it. It was during the last podcast with Sam and Steven and I, and Battle Cry. Whatever happened to Battle Cry, which was shown off 2 years ago, and then Battleborn, Overwatch, something, Evil Blood, everything that's come out since that time.
That also made me think, what happened to that Ubisoft sword fighting game?
Oh, For Honor?
That's coming out. That's supposed to
be coming out.
They're supposedly going to be showing it off this year, is what I've been told.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because that's the game they announced, and they had a public beta of it, right? And
South Park. Remember, there's still South Park coming. Yeah. So some of the other things that are out there, Rise of the Tomb Raider for PS4, or that's still supposedly coming. The 1 year exclusivity is going to be up this year, so I fully expect that to come out for the PS4 in some enhanced Game of the Year edition, whatever, with DLC or extra maps or something. I'm not sure, or maybe Nathan Drake will be in it. Wouldn't that be hilarious if they released Rise of the Tomb Raider and Nathan Drake makes a cameo? Which I have not finished Uncharted 4. Nobody tell me anything about the ending. But other things that have supposedly been leaked on lists is finally they're going to show off PRE3. They're going to show off Wolfenstein 2, which would be awesome because I love the one from a couple years ago or last year. And there's the Skyrim remaster, Dishonored 2. We're going to hear more about that. Could there be a new Prince of Persia game? No idea. Could there finally be a real Marvel game on there? I mean, you mentioned Spider-Man, but maybe a new Marvel vs. Capcom. Who knows? Like I said, Resident Evil 7, Conquer. Maybe there's a new Conquer game. Red Dead Redemption 2. That's rumored. God, there are so many games that are rumored out there. Even new Minecraft stuff is also rumored. But who knows? Who knows what'll happen? There's the Cash Bandicoot. Oh my God! Did you just make this? You just spent time making Cash Bandicoot. I'm tweeting the hell out of this. But yes, there's so many things that could happen this year. The one thing there's only one thing that I can guarantee you right now about E3, absolutely guarantee, is that Zelda will be pretty divisive between fans of Zelda. People are gonna love it and hate it. So
I really hope it's a girl, so people can get really mad and say, "Hey, I'm not sexist, but."
I'm not sexist, but Link is always a boy. They should just bring out Linkle. Yeah, there's so many opportunities. Do you guys think we'll see anything like Halo related, like Halo 6?
I think they'll show.
Yeah.
They'll tease it, but they might tease it after being like. I think they'll show Halo Wars 2 at their conference, and people will be like, "Why are you wasting time talking about Halo Wars 2?" And then I think they'll be like, "Also Halo 6."
Okay, they'll have like another teaser, like they did when the Xbox One was announced. To show that. Okay, I think they need to. Halo 5
also coming to Windows 10.
Windows, yeah. That might, if that's the case, then that's gonna be a very strange time for. I mean, I'm not a PC gamer. I have a PC, although. I don't know if you guys heard. Did you see my tweets earlier? Me getting a spam phone call.
No.
I get a spam phone call. It's from those. You get the spam call where they'll say, "Excuse me, my name is Andy," and it's clearly not Andy. My name is Andy, and your computer. We found out this. I'm Andy from Windows Security Protection. We found out your computer is infected, and we need to make sure that your computer is going to be locked unless you get it fixed. By the way, we can fix it for you for like $50. One of those types of scams, right? So this guy calls me up and he says, "Hi, my name is Andy." And I go, he's kind of laying the spiel. I'm like, "Oh," I'm really thankful you called. He said, "Oh, you are?" I said, "Well, yeah, because I actually don't even own a Windows machine. I own other machines in the house, and I have no idea how you're telling me that my Windows machine is infected when I don't even own a Windows machine." And he kind of stutters a little bit, and I said, "Well, I start to mock him because I knew right away it was a fake. I'm mocking him. I'm like, and this is horrible for me to do it, but I'm messing with his accent, and I'm like, dude, you're calling. You got to stop calling. This is like the worst thing you're doing." And he gets all upset at me because I called him out on it. And he goes, what did I say? He goes, you are a mother bleeper. You shut the bleep up. He's yelling at me. You shut the bleep up. You're a mother bleeper because I called him out on his trying to rip me off. And then I'm like, he hangs up on the phone right before I was going to say, delete your account, because I saw the whole Hillary Clinton and done something. I was like, oh, I missed out on yelling, delete your account earlier. But I had a spam caller today telling me that my Windows machine is broken when my laptop has been turned off for months, or has been turned off for like weeks, so I've been out of town. Anyways, awesome show, lots of predictions. I've got all these written down. I'll type them up and add them into the post. To our viewers and listeners, thank you for joining us. Post your predictions in the comments below on the website, on SideQuesting.com. It's a website. It'd be awesome if you do that because we're always interested to see what other people think is going to happen. And do you think we're going to be that far off? Here's an idea. Out of the 4 of us who get the most predictions correct, I will buy a cool gaming shirt that I'll send over, and I'll figure out something kind of cool and interesting. Maybe it'll be a Battleborn shirt that I'll send over to someone.
I'm only down with Battle Cry shirts.
Okay, oh my god, wouldn't that be awesome? Shirts of failed games. Oh goodness! But thank you guys.
Some African children for them.
What's that?
You have to go fight some African children for them.
Yeah, there you go. Right, right next to the Boston Red Sox 2019 World Championship. New England Patriots World Champions. Anyways, if please, again, I mentioned before, rate and review us. Find us at SideQuesting on the Twitter, SideQuesting.com, SideQuesting TV on Twitch. You can find me, Dolly Domofsky, all over the place. Where can we find you, Tom?
At that Tom Johnson.
Sam?
And on Twitter. Yeah.
Oh, and on Twitter. Okay.
No, I was saying that's on Twitter. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sam?
Oh, SamDI79 on Twitter.
And Robin?
At A Robin Miller on Twitter, and that's Robin with a Y.
All right. And we will see you guys all after E3. I mean, we're probably going to do a podcast or two at E3, and we're going to have a lot of fun. It's awesome. E3's here, everybody. We did it. We made it to E3. Let's collapse.
I'll bring a recorder. We'll do it at the bar. I'll be hella drunk.
Sounds good. Take care, everybody. We'll see you guys in the next podcast. SideQuest. Next podcast.
Yeehaw.
Bye, everyone.